So excited for today's new video. We are talking about the new Nars foundation. I'm so excited to share with you guys Nars's new foundation formula. I'm gonna do a application wear test and also share all the details on it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, friends, this just arrived from Nars. This is the Light Reflecting Collection. It's the Skin in Its Best Light foundation. And I am very excited to share this with you guys. I actually really enjoy Nars's foundations. I normally have pretty good luck with them, so I was very excited to see them come out with a new formula. So this is called the Light Reflecting Foundation, and they did send over 3 different shades for me to try out, along with this little card that has some info on the foundation. So it looks like this is like brand new, not released yet. It says it will be available January 13th at Sephora and then January 14th at Nars's website. Looks like I'm getting this pretty ahead of the launch, which is nice, so that way I can share my thoughts with you. So it says makeup that looks like skin, acts like skincare, feels light as air, introducing the new light reflecting foundation, a hybrid makeup skincare formula that instantly blurs and smooths the look of skin while improving skin's clarity over time. It has medium to buildable coverage and a natural finish. And then it just says it pairs well with their iconic setting powder. Okay. So all of the claims are things that I personally love in a foundation. I love more of a medium build. I also love a natural finish. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, please. This sounds great. I really enjoy their Sheer Glow formula. That one's really nice for me. And I really do love their soft matte foundation as well. But lately I've been leaning a little bit more towards that like skin tint, you know, natural look. And I feel like this is going to be right down my alley. So they sent over 3 different shades. I have the shade Santa Fe, Deville, which I can never say right, and then Vanilla. I think I'm honestly going to be the lightest shade, which is this one here, Vanilla, because I am quite a bit lighter than I usually am. Santa Fe is my shade like in the summertime, but I know I'm nowhere near close to that. But let me pump it out so I can show you guys each one of the shades I got. The bottle feels really heavy. It's a nice glass bottle. It does have that typical Nars packaging, which is nice. So it's a little bit of a smaller bottle than the their soft or their Radiance foundation. That one's like a longer bottle. It does have in it though 1 fluid ounce, so your typical standard size, and then you have the pump there as well. So let me go ahead and show you guys again. This is the lightest shade that they sent. So this is light 4.5. So it's their typical pump. If you haven't used like a Nars pump before, it's kind of like almost like a half pump. It's like a very light pump. So like this is 1 whole pump. You can see it's not like a ton of foundation that comes out. Sometimes I like that because I don't feel like you're like over pumping, so you can kind of use what you need. And then the next shade is light 4. And so I'll give you guys a little look at that one and then I'll blend them out too. Okay, actually that shade actually looks quite a bit lighter, so I might go with that shade instead. And then Santa Fe is medium too. So again, this one is pretty deep. I know that from the soft matte foundation that it's a little bit deeper. Okay, so it is pretty runny. You can tell it's like a pretty runny formula. Let me go ahead and kind of blend these out so we can see. All right, so there's a look at all 3 of the shades. I think this one is leaning a little bit warmer than the middle shade, so I'll probably go with that personally. But formula-wise, it definitely feels thinner than I was thinking, but I'm kind of into that. Like I said, I like more of like a serum-y formula lately, so I think I'm gonna enjoy this. So let's go ahead and start trying it out on the face. I do have moisturizer on my skin right now. I've been loving using the Tatcha water cream. That's what I've been using lately. So I put that on quite a bit ago, so I wanted it to be able to seep in really well. And then I'm gonna also use the Tatcha liquid Silk Canvas Primer. That's been like my go-to lately. Anytime I'm trying a new foundation, I always like to use products that I typically will use, so that way I can get like a feel for the actual foundation. So again, I'm just going in with that. I just have a trial size. I've been using this for a while. It's lasted me actually a decent amount of time. And this is a formula that I can actually apply to my entire face. Sometimes with like pore filling primers, I only use them like just in my pore area, but this is a nice formula that doesn't like disrupt your makeup if you apply it all over. So I kind of just apply it here, kind of work it in, and then start to blend it everywhere else. For application, I'm going to be using a brush on one side and then a sponge on the other. For sponge, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild sponge. I love these. These are so good. Super soft and really affordable. You can find them on Amazon. I've been like loving these. And then I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics. This is just their IT Cosmetics by Ulta foundation brush. It's shaped like a little star, but I love this brush. So I'm going to use that for the brush side. So let's do the brush side first. And I'm going to just pump this directly onto my hand and then I'll work it into the skin that way. So I'm going to do 2 pumps. Again, their pumps are kind of small, so it's pretty much like one standard pump, I would say. And I'm just going to grab it. Actually, let's do it this way. I was going to say I was going to grab it, but I'm going to apply it directly to my face first, just so we can get the best coverage. And then I will blend it out with my brush. So again, it feels really serum-y, really like liquidy. Then we'll just start to blend it out. So this does look a little bit yellow still, but I feel like I can make it work. All right. Oof. So coverage-wise, I'm definitely seeing that like light coverage. It's not looking like overly heavy or anything like that. I definitely feel like I could go in almost with a second layer if I wanted to as well. So I do feel like it blended really nicely, and it definitely is more of like a light, I would say that's more of like a light coverage right there, because you can definitely still see like my moles and everything peeking through for sure. So let me actually let's add one more pump and see if we can't build that up a little bit more. So I'm just gonna grab it on my brush now, and I'm just gonna kind of focus it in the areas that I want a little bit more coverage. So like through here, I'm just gonna see how it layers. I typically will apply most all my foundations with a sponge. It's just what I prefer. So I might end up going over this side with a sponge after I'm done here with my brush, just because I feel like it does blend for me a little bit better. But building wise, I wouldn't say it's like the most buildable, because I do feel like it's kind of like sitting, like once you have it on your skin, I don't know that it's like with a brush at least kind of going in more. It's kind of just sitting there, like adding a second layer. But again, it feels really lightweight. Scent wise, I'm not noticing like any smell with it, which is nice. So now we're going to try it out with the sponge on the other side. And then like I said, I might go over this with my sponge too, because I feel like it just could look a little bit better. So let's add a couple pumps. So I'll do 3 pumps this side with this. And then I'm going to grab it directly with the sponge and start to blend it out here. Yeah, I just love the look of a sponge a lot better for me personally. I just feel like it really melts into my skin a little bit more. So I do feel like you're getting a little bit more coverage on this side, but I do feel like it just looks, let me just do this, because it looks a little bit like undone. Like it looks like it needs to be blended. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So coverage-wise, I don't know that you're getting like a ton more if you use a brush. I feel like it looks pretty similar. Doesn't look like we have a lot of foundation on. I can definitely see what they say about like the skincare like serum-y aspect to it. So add a little bit more up here to my forehead. It's not really emphasizing my pores any. I mean, they look a little bit enlarged, but not anything more than like usual. And it definitely has a nice like luminosity to it. Like you can tell it has a nice like glow about it. So I'm going to actually apply the rest of my makeup here, and we'll see how it plays with all of the rest of my products. Now that it's blended out too, I don't think the shade match is too bad. I think it looks pretty okay. It could be a little bit better, but I definitely think I can make it work with like concealer and everything. Okay, so for concealer, I'm actually going to use this one from Revlon. I've been using this one a lot. This is the Skin Awaken concealer. So I'm going to apply this directly over it, see how it plays with concealer. And then I'm also going to powder as well. I want to wear this the way I typically would wear most formulas, like when I wear them. I'm not going to powder overly because I do want to see how much, you know, the wear time is on it and everything. But I do want to powder somewhat. Just kind of do my regular routine how I would typically use it. So just going in with this. It has a really nice coverage. This concealer does. And also it's really hydrating on the under eyes. So that again is the Color Stay Skin Awaken Caffeine and Vitamin C Concealer. I can link it for you guys if you're curious. Okay, so now it's been sitting there just for a second. I wanted to kind of see how it was, like how setting wise before I added any powder. So it definitely does feel like a little bit tacky, but not overly tacky. So if you're someone who doesn't like to set your base, I do think you would actually really like this foundation because it did almost set. Like it's just a tad tacky, but not to where like my hair or anything would get stuck in it. So I do prefer that type of formula, one that's not overly like slippy, because I'm someone who hates the feeling of like my makeup like touching my hair and stuff. So again, if you don't like setting your makeup, like I don't always set everything, I feel like this would actually be something you might like. I do, however, want to set some areas because that's what I typically do, and I want to use it, you know, give it a fair shot with how I typically use my powders. So I am going to grab some of the Huda Beauty. This is her powder. I've been loving this one. What is it? This is in the shade Sugar Cookie. It's Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. So I've been really liking this. I apply some of it to my damp sponge, and then what I do is kind of like work it into the sponge, so it's not a lot of powder. And then I will go ahead and set my under eyes with this. I do want to kind of set my T-zone a little bit because that's what I typically do. So I do apply it normally right here to my smile lines because that's where my makeup does break up quite a bit. So I'm going to apply it right in here, just a little bit of the powder. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of it right in this area too, right by my nose, because my makeup does tend to break up a little bit in that area as well. I definitely don't want it to be like super matte, so I'm not trying to set my entire face. I really just want to set the areas that I get the most oily. I always hate myself when I don't say my skin type in the beginning of the video. I'm sorry, you guys. So I do have pretty normal skin. It does lean a little bit more oily at times. So I'm really just mostly oily in my T-zone. The rest of me pretty much stays fine. So pretty normal skin. Besides my T-zone does get a tad oily. So, okay, there it is, set with a little bit of powder. I definitely feel like we lost a little bit of that luminosity with setting it, but I do still see it peeking through. And then I'm excited to add the rest of my products on top and see how it looks once the rest of my base is done. So let me go ahead and add blush, bronzer, all that jazz, and then I'll come back and show you guys what the foundation is looking like. All right, so I am back after applying the rest of my base makeup, and I have to say I am definitely loving the way this is looking. I feel like it looks really nice. I can still see, like I said, the luminosity of it. It doesn't look overly matte, and with that setting powder, I don't feel like it's settling, you know, into anywhere quite yet. I will say my pores look a teensy bit enlarged in this area, but that's pretty normal for me. I don't think it looks bad at all. I'm actually really surprised with how just nice my skin looks in general. Again, it feels like pretty set, not fully set. I'm very excited to see how it wears throughout the day, because if it does wear nicely, I could see this becoming a new favorite formula of mine just based upon how comfortable it feels. It doesn't feel like heavy at all. It doesn't feel like I have barely anything on. So that is really nice, and the coverage looks really good. So I'm going to update you guys. I'm going to do a wear test right now. Oh my gosh, what time is it? It is about 1 o'clock. So I'll do a wear test. I'll give it a good, like, let's say like 7-8 hours, and I'll come back and show you guys how it's wearing after that. But I am definitely impressed so far, so I have high hopes for this wear test. Hopefully in the next clip it looks good. All right, I have you on my phone right now because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in natural light. I know sometimes with like the, you know, beauty lights, like everything can kind of get distorted a little. So here's what it's looking like. Natural light, no excess lighting. This is just, I'm standing in front of a window. So I wanted to show you guys that so you can kind of see how my skin is peeking through. Just a tad, but you know, not a ton. Very nice coverage. So far it's looking nice and dewy. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys to see it kind of how it would be true to color if you guys were seeing me like in person. This is what it would look like. Okay, I am back. It has been, it's like almost 8, a little past 8:30 right now. So it's been about a 7.5 hour wear test. So let's kind of check in and see how my skin is doing. So initially I do feel like it looks a little bit shiny, but not terrible. I feel like I've had worse. If I were like wearing this out, I might just kind of throw a quick powder touch up, like maybe just like through this area here. I might powder. It's breaking apart a little bit up there, but I do think it looks pretty good. I feel like my under eyes could use a little refresher too, but I'm not mad at this. I think it didn't break apart like on my cheeks at all. My nose, like I told you guys, sometimes it breaks apart. I don't really see it doing that. It's not really breaking apart here. So all in all, I think it looks pretty good. I also didn't use a setting spray, and I feel like if I had used a setting spray, it might have kind of helped maybe combat a little bit of my oiliness as well. But you guys will have to let me know what you think. I think wear test wise, it looks really good. It wore really comfortably. Again, I didn't have it like slipping or anything throughout the day. So I think this one's gonna be, I think a lot of people are gonna really like this one. I was gonna say, I think it's gonna become a new favorite for a lot of people. I will have links down below to the foundation as soon as it does launch. So if you wanna check that out, you can. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well so you don't miss out on my future uploads. I'll see you guys soon.